You did it.
Crisis averted. I don't know why that was doing that.
Because it's Zoom. I
Yeah.
mean, bound to happen.
I'm having heart palpitations, but I should calm down soon. Jeez. So apologies to everyone, given the circumstances, not that late of a start. Have no idea what was going on with Zoom, but here we are. Do we have all the board present? I see Anthony, I see David, I see Warren, I see Helen. I see George.
2, 3, 4. Myself is 5.
Hillary?
I don't see Hillary yet.
Hillary.
Okay, we got a quorum, don't we?
We do.
Should we?
Yeah.
What is the pleasure? What would we like to do? Do we want to start the meeting?
Why don't we give one more minute because there was a problem with logging on, and I know that I wouldn't like it if people started without me, without being able to figure it out. So maybe we can wait one more minute and see if Hillary, I'm sure she is.
I know she was trying to get on, so she's coming. I just emailed her to try now.
Good.
And I don't see Mike. Is Mike on?
No, I don't see Mike either. Let's see.
Okay.
I see Warren, I see David, I see George. Yep, I see George, I see Anthony. I see Joanna. Maybe.
Okay. She could jump in if she gets here. We might as well get some of the things rolling. Force the planning board call to a meeting Wednesday, January 20th. It's 7:09 p.m. Call to order. Can want to have a roll call, Helen?
I'm going to assume that Mike and Hillary are going to join us, so I'm not going to mark them. I'm not going to mark them not here until.
Yeah, that's fine. We got a quorum. We're just.
That's fine. Warren is here.
He's muted.
Hi, Warren. Yep, David is here.
Here.
George is here.
Hi, Helen.
Anthony is here. I'm here. I'm going to send Mike a text, and I don't have Hillary's number.
Mike and Hillary are probably in cyberspace somewhere trying to figure out how to get here. So
I can give Hillary a call.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
That would be great.
okay. Can we have an approval of minutes for the meeting from January 6th?
Warren makes a motion to approve the minutes of January 6th.
Is there a second?
Second, David.
Thank you.
I just got a text message from Hillary.
Yeah.
She's asking me if I'm in the meeting, so I think she's still having trouble getting in.
Yep. Okay.
I'll tell her to back out and try again.
Oh, thank you, David.
There she is right here connecting now. It
All
says
right, great.
Okay, yay.
she's connecting to the audio.
And I've got the text out to Mike. But I don't have Mike's phone number, so. Michael, I don't know if you can call. Michael can do. And I'm assuming Hillary
I'll give Mike a call.
pays pretty good.
I'm here. I don't know why my camera's not on. I'll see if I can figure it out. One sec.
Hit the video, click your video and on.
Start video.
at the
Yeah, there we
bottom.
go.
There you go, Hillary.
Yeah.
So, Hillary, to bring you up, the minutes are moved and seconded, and so I'm waiting for you.
Hey, Mike,
Hi.
Mike. Hello, Mike.
You want to mute him?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
And
so can I have a roll call on the approval of the minutes, Helen?
No, because I'm waiting to see, Hillary is fabulous at, corrections, and so I'm waiting for Hillary's suggestions here.
You find any grammar mistakes, Hillary?
I did not.
Okay. There you go. Perfect. Any punctuation in the wrong spot, Hillary?
Well, I won't go there.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, so for approval of the minutes, Hillary,
Muted. I,
Warren,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Yep, me too. Okay, so,
Okay.
I can step in. Dennis Therian.
hi Dennis.
Hi, I just talked to Mike. He said his computer crashed. He can't get on.
Okay, oh,
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have I don't know if this is a suggestion, if it's the right thing or not, if we get major subdivision first, so they don't have to wait around while we do the capital improvement. If we want to do it that way, switch E to F, and we'll do F first and get that out of the way.
somebody needs to make that, motion.
Motion.
Yeah, make a motion.
The agenda I'm looking at has the public information as E already.
So what Anthony means is, he means to move F to E.
F on mine is capital improvements. What are you guys looking at?
So
Hold
we
on.
are trying to move, no. So first of all, we've not dealt with correspondence, but secondly, what we're trying to do is move agenda item F, public informational meeting on the major subdivision for the kind of pre-app for master plan. We're trying to advance that to the next item on the agenda. Is that correct?
Mine already says E.
Mine already said
Mine's the other way around.
We're not- we-
Depends which
let's
one you're
not-
looking at. That's not important.
Let's not worry about letters. We would like to move which is agenda item F, the public informational meeting for the subdivision, the major subdivision plan. We would like to move that up to be heard next.
Is that such a big deal?
Somebody make the motion, somebody second, please.
I will
Somebody-
motion. to
Motion.
move-
I'll make a motion to move item F up to the next thing on the agenda, which I guess is D.
Well, just move to next.
Move it ahead.
Okay,
Second?
Warren seconds.
thank you, Warren.
All in favor?
Okay, so I'll move the agenda change.
Okay.
Okay, Hillary,
I,
Warren,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. So that passes 6-0.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so the next item is the public informational meeting. Major subdivision master plan, AP3 lot 34 Pierce Road and T Parker Road. applicants Michael S. and Susan C. Barnes.
Okay, good. Mike, can you take the agenda off the screen? So I could see everybody in big pictures. Okay. Whatever.
Sorry, everybody, I was distracted. I was talking to Mike Carpenter just now.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
He's going to try and join with his phone. So anyway,
Okay, that's it.
Michael, can you take the, go back to full screen? There you go.
got
Thank you.
it.
Thank you. Dr. Bonds, you're ready, correct?
I am. There's, in the bottom corner, you have Norbert Therian, who has joined. I believe he'll be representing, so I hope he'll be popping on. He might not have been expecting the agenda change, so he may.
No, I'm here.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to Norbert, and then we'll, obviously both of us will be available for any questions.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes, Norbert.
Yes.
How do you do? Nice to see everyone, old friends. My name's Norbert Farian. I'm a professional land surveyor. I'm employed through National Land Surveyors Developers, Inc. And myself, as well as Michael and Susan Barnes, been working on subdividing the property that is shown as Lot 34 on Assessors Plat 3. It's a 72.8 acre parcel that's located on the southerly line of Pierce Road and on the westerly side of Peapod. It's a wooded parcel having some wetlands on it, and the area is zoned AR. What's proposed to take place is hopefully everybody has plans and somewhat familiar with it. What's supposed to take place is to create 6 lots, which classifies this as a major subdivision. 4 lots running along the existing frontage on Pierce, and 2 lots with frontage on Key Parker Road. The site has been exhaustively tested for on-site septic systems, and the entire project has been submitted and found to be acceptable for subdivision site suitability. A copy of that should have been in your package under subdivision site suitability permit number 1912-1093. Wetlands on the property has been delineated by Mason and Associates, located in Situate, Rhode Island. And the wetland has been surveyed, located, as well as submitted to the state for verification. And as is required now, the entire project has been submitted to DEM to review to make sure that what they classify as best management practices are adhered to with regards to the site development, erosion control, on-site drainage systems that intercept the runoff from the roofs. And that has been accepted by the state under Rhode Island DEM permit number 20-0180 and RIPDES number RR102099. Your plan shows the individual house location, driveway accesses to the abutting streets, the regrading necessary, where drainage is going, where stockpile of material, where the limit of disturbance is. It also shows the geometry and the total acreage of each individual lot, and the lots vary from 5.3 acres to up to lot number 3, which is the largest, being just a little bit over 28 acres. All of the setback requirements and building requirements are shown on the property, meeting obviously the state requirements as well as the setbacks that the town of Forster has with regards to septic systems being at least 100 feet away from property lines. and at least 200 feet from any stream. There are utilities available on both streets, such as electricity and telecommunications. Each lot will have its own well, and the meeting all of the building requirements with regard to the town of Worcester and the state of Rhode Island. It's been a long time getting all of these permits and tweaking it, this project in, and testing on 2 to 3 different occasions and meeting with the state, but everything has been found satisfactory to develop the 6 lots with accesses to the public street as shown. And in this, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
I'd like to compliment Norbert on being very thorough with his survey.
Well, it's we try, and plus now the state requires, because of the fact that for even residences, drainage it has to be developed for each individual lot. There's that much more information, that much more detail that has to be created to satisfy the state so that we can obtain those permits. So thank you very much, Helen.
Anthony, if I could jump in.
Go ahead.
So just to reiterate, this is informational meeting for the beginning of the master plan approval. So no action is required by the board tonight. They'll come back at another meeting in likely soon for master plan approval. As this is a new filing, obviously, from the 2018 filing that some of you may remember. It's changed a bit since then. The other thing is that I solicited comments from departments. DPW didn't have anything, building didn't have anything. I know Conservation Commission was going to go take a look at the site. They haven't done that yet. But if they have any comments, we can incorporate that for the next meeting if they have anything. And so those are the only. Oh, and Linda Tibbetts is on. I know she had some comments. Linda, I don't know if you had sent me an email, but if you wanted to speak to any comments from the perspective of the land trust, that might be helpful at this time if the board wanted to entertain that. And other than that, no comments. I sent it to fire, the engineering board. Mr. Cuniff commented just that he didn't have any issue and everything looked like it was everything was accessible. So.
Go ahead, Linda.
Well, I suppose you would know enough to check the comprehensive plan maps, the environmental constraint maps. There is a lot of high slopes and bedrocks in this area. And in the comprehensive plan, it was also in a low density development area.
Yes.
All I can say is that in 2014, the Land Trust was awarded a grant to acquire this property. And then there ended up being a glitch with the previous owner. His brother had owned it and wanted it protected, but he passed away. And obviously this brother was convinced that he could get more money for it than what the Land Trust could offer. So we got an extension on the grant for a year, but we weren't able to come to an agreement. And that's all I can say is that DEM and the Land Trust, there were a good many reasons to want to try to protect this land, especially because it connected to the Audubon properties, but it's out of our hands. And we had the grant, we weren't able to see it through. And so the natural thing is that it goes up for development after that.
I'm live.
Pardon me?
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Thanks, Linda. And Anthony, I don't know if you wanted the board to discuss immediately, or if you want to open it to anybody else. I know Dee Tavares is in a butter. She's present.
Yeah,
if you want to hear from
quickly,
them.
I guess, Joanna, should the board, or maybe we should listen to the comments and then let the board discuss it after? We can open it up to any discussions first, and then the board can listen to what everybody has to say, and then we'll
Yeah.
go from there.
Mhm.
Ms. Tavares, I guess, is that your name, Dee Tavares? You have, you're in a butter?
Yes, I am the abutter, one of the abutters, and the property is behind my house. And thank you, Linda, for talking about the land trust. Broke our heart that that didn't go through. That's why a lot of us are here in this neighborhood. It's beautiful land. There's, as you said, the bedrock. There's a lot of concern about when the land is moved, how that's going to affect the existing properties. I understand there's been extensive research done. Also, there's a concern about the frontage on T. Parker is not, it's less than what's required for the driveway. And I do have a question about a cart path that's in the diagram for the property. I don't know what that's about. Is this, I don't know what kind of development this is.
Would maybe Mr. Norbert could answer that.
Well, the cart path that's there was there when we first arrived on the property. It has no bearing on, we're showing it as a site characteristic. It's not intended to be utilized in any way, shape, or form. There's no easements being proposed from one lot to the other to allow the continued use. It is there. We wanted to show it because we're supposed to. But the type of development that this is, it's a residential development, single-family homes. With regards to the frontage on T. Parker Road, that's pertaining to lot number 5. I think Mike's just brought that up. We have more than enough frontage on Pierce Road for frontage. There is 212.15 feet. Mike, if you can slide to the right or slide the plan to the left, you'll be able to see that there is 212.15 feet, yeah, a little bit more, frontage on T. Parker Road. That's so that we can utilize the existing cart path that's there now. There is a driveway that comes in off of T. Parker. So what we're proposing is that we utilize that existing driveway. I mean, it's a very good driveway. Why it's there, I don't know. We didn't make it. It was there from the very beginning. Maybe previous owners went camping or picnicking there. But when we look at the terrain and the line of sight visibility on Pierce Road, and the fact that there's already an existing driveway on T. Parker Road, and that whenever you're developing property, most communities, as well as the town of Forster, likes to minimize the overall amount of disturbance that has to take place to develop whatever is being proposed, whether it be commercial or individual homes. To that end, we're proposing to utilize the existing cart path that comes off of T. Parker Road. T. Parker Road is a dead-end street. There's minimal amount of traffic there, so it would be a safer situation. The line of sight visibility when you come out of lot 5 onto T. Parker Road is literally 300 feet both directions. So when you take into consideration the terrain, the fact that there's already a driveway there, that's a safer situation to minimize the overall disturbance on any particular piece of property. We're proposing that driveway be utilized for access out to a public road for lot 5.
Actually, that driveway was not there when Mr. Bonds had the properties perked.
That's
They
not
went in there and tore it down
That
to
is,
get down to where
beg
the
to
perk.
differ with you. I was there from the very, very, very beginning.
We watched it.
I've
sir.
lived here for 14 years.
16 years.
There
Just
was no driveway there, and it's
Let's end
not,
that conversation.
it's really not a driveway.
I didn't say, it's a cart path that you could take almost any type of vehicle you want and drive in that.
Yeah,
right
because they bulldozed it to go down to Perkett 3 years.
Who's speaking? Hold on. Michael, take this thing off the screen so I can see who's speaking. I got little thumbnails. Okay. One person at a time.
Hi, this is Gina. I'm at T Parker Road also.
Where are
She's
you?
the owner of the
I'm the
property.
owner of this property also. And I watched him cut through to go down to put the perk in. So that path was not there before.
Just let's stick to the
That was
facts. It's
3
not a
years ago.
driveway.
So that's that. And
Hold on. Who was that was just speaking? I didn't see it. Where is she?
She was behind, she's on the same.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the same as D.
Okay, we got 2 in 1 square. Okay. You're a neighbor also?
No, she
No, I
lives
own
here.
this house.
Oh, okay. Okay, just trying to get it. Okay. I believe the driveway is irrelevant right now.
There's not enough
Well,
frontage.
it's not irrelevant.
Okay. How much frontage is right there, Mr. Norbert, from end to end on that one particular lot?
212.15 feet is the frontage that's on lot 5 on T Parker Road.
And then
Okay.
Norbert, there's also frontage on Pierce as well, correct?
Correct, I'm giving you that figure as right now.
Okay. On my sheet here, it says lot 5 is 645 feet of frontage. That's because it goes around the corner? Is that what it does?
645.97 feet. It runs from lot 33, which is the corner lot, up to lot number 4.
No,
Okay.
no,
I'm the corner lot.
Okay.
that's not correct. For lot 5 on T Parker Road, it has 212 some feet. On Pierce Road, I believe it has 293 feet.
No, plus there's an additional 352.8.
645
Yeah,
feet.
total.
On T Parker.
No,
And-
Pierce.
Pierce, on Pierce, yes.
Okay,
And if I look at the setbacks properly, he's actually showing that the southern plan property line is the rear property. And that the house is set to the extreme backyard from Pierce. Is that correct, Norbert?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there, anybody else have anything in the public?
Anthony?
Yes,
Anthony?
I have something additional. I have a question about if the property owners that are abutting the property are going to be offered to purchase land.
I remember that when this came before us before, there was a suggestion to the new owners of the property that the people who lived in the house on the corner be offered the option of adding land to their lot. And I can't, Michael, do we have it in our notes as to,
Helen, I can help you.
thank you, Ron.
Go ahead, Ron.
I made that suggestion, and I also spoke to one of the owners about this lot and made the suggestion to them personally. I don't know what happened in the planning board. Nothing happened, but the owners denied or weren't interested in the request.
No, we were-
Excuse me.
Go ahead, Ron.
You have enough frontage on T Parker. That makes it a legal lot, and you can place the driveway where you choose. There was an existing cart path there. I've lived here 32 years. So we have a difference of opinion. But I did make that suggestion. It was not accepted.
Thank you, Ron. Can I ask a question? Is there more history to this parcel than most of the new members are aware of? I mean, it seems like this is, I mean, a little bit from the land trust, and Helen, you obviously knew something about it. I mean, is there more history to this land, Dr. Bonds?
This came to the planning board in 2018.
Right.
Dr. Barnes brought it to the planning board in 2018. At that time, there was an additional lot. It was a 7-lot subdivision proposal. There was proposal for another lot on Pierce Road next to Ms. Tavares's land, and that has now been incorporated into lot 5.
Got it. I got it. I remember now, Helen. I do remember that. We sent it back. I got it. You have something else to say, Ms. Tavares?
I do. My question is, if we're going to be offered the abutters land, lots to purchase, is that going to be offered to the people who live here, the abutters?
I can't answer that question. It would have to go to Dr. Bonds if you unmute yourself there.
Oh, and
And you can get muted. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't want to jump in, so I was recognized. So short answer is, we have no problem having that conversation. Some of the, I won't call them abutters, well, they are technically abutters, not tangible abutters, but they are within, across the street on Pierce. We've been approached by some of the people on Pierce to buy some of the lots there, so I have no problem having that conversation, and so that's the answer I could give. There definitely have been people who have approached us. Some people live on Pierce and some others, but I'm happy to have the conversation with the butters as well. And obviously at a fair market price, but I'm more than happy to have that conversation.
Thank you, Dr. Bonds. Does that answer your question, Ms. Tavares?
Yes, thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Okay. I guess you guys can meet over coffee at one of our fine restaurants in town. And
After, with COVID,
oh, that's right.
probably Zoom.
Right? And you guys can figure it out. I guess, Linda, you have something else. Maybe the land trust wants to buy it back again?
We no longer have that grant funding to purchase it back.
I think you would need double that.
But I would like, I can offer you the grant application that we had sent in, which would list, I guess, fairly concisely the reasons why we had wanted to protect it, the justifications that are in the comprehensive plan as well as in the state guide plans and in SCORP. It's up to you. I've sent it to Michael Antonellis.
Okay.
And if you want it, Mike, you're welcome to forward it to anyone.
Okay.
Well, Linda sent that.
We had received the grant. We did have to return it because the time limit was out and we couldn't we couldn't purchase it.
Yeah, Linda had sent that to me today. I just hadn't had time to review it or forward it out, but I can forward that out to the members and I can put that on the record. And if you want to review that.
By the next time we can get a look at it. That's great.
I just want to be a little bit careful about how far we're going, because the property owner, has the right to do with the property what he would like. The planning board makes decisions about approving the subdivision, but we cannot be brokering deals or kind of telling people that they need, essentially what they need to do or what with their land. So
Right. Yeah.
I understand the land trust position, but it's a little shaky as far as, we can't impose certain things on the landowner as far as selling it to the land trust. That's a.
Thank you.
The land trust is now offering to buy it. We wouldn't have the funding to do that.
I don't even know why they were there. Okay, I'll keep my comments to myself. Thank you, Joanna. Any other board members, any of the board members have any questions or
Comments or.
comments to it? Okay. Good. Next move now is to,
So there's no action that the board needs to take tonight. So, I mean, that if the conversation is done, I mean, if you don't have any recommendations for the plan, any changes or anything, or if you do, you can make those comments now. Otherwise, we'll just move on to the next item, and they will follow up.
Actually-
Hillary, go ahead.
Can I just ask, I just have I just lost it. All right, I have a quick question about, so, and it relates back to what Ron said. So the frontage on Pierce Road, which is 600 feet for lot 5, I'm sorry, going back to that. So it's okay to have the driveway, I'm looking at setbacks on that lot, and I'm just like, so that's considered the back of the lot along where it abuts lot 6 for lot 5, the south, where's the north arrow in here? Yeah, north. So is that considered, like, does it matter front setback, side setback, back setback? Because of where wouldn't the driveway, like the orientation of the property, doesn't that matter in terms of what is considered the setback? Like if the driveways, I would think that the driveway side along that 212-foot stretch would be considered the front of the property, because that's where the house is oriented to and the driveway and so forth.
It's showing a front yard setback dimension rather than a side. It is a front. But is when you have a corner lot, which this is not,
Right,
you also get to pick your street.
okay. But you said it's not a corner lot.
No, the corner lot would be that of Tavares, and we have a
Exactly.
regulation that if you have a corner lot, which this
Then you
is
can
not,
pick which is, right,
you then have to have 300 feet minimum on each street. So this lot not being a corner lot does not have that requirement.
okay. So, but is there somewhere in the town regulations that I'm asking this because I'm just curious, like, wouldn't Pierce Road be considered the front of this lot if that's where the, greater than 300 feet of frontage is? What else does frontage mean?
It would technically be you have property fronting on a town right of way in 2 spots on this piece of land.
Okay.
The
But that isn't-
requirement for this lot, not being a corner lot, is that it has 300 feet of frontage on a town road,
Okay,
which it has over 645 feet on
Right.
Pierce and lacking 300 on T. Parker, not required.
okay, so there's no requirement in terms of where you position your driveway in regard to which frontage you choose to use.
If anyone's familiar with the lot that includes the liquor store on Route 6, that has frontage on 2 town roads. It fronts on, that is an L-shaped lot that fronts on 2 streets. The driveway access for the house that was the residential structure fronts on, not on Route 6, but comes off the other road. Same situation.
Okay,
So I'll just offer, Hillary, it sounds like your question is getting to, is it permissible to have driveway access on the part of the land that you might not be designating as your legal frontage?
exactly.
I don't think, I certainly haven't seen anything in the regulations that would restrict that. There's restrictions to driveways being a certain distance from historic cemeteries and things like that. But I haven't seen anything that would bar access to the road that isn't through that frontage. Joanna, have you seen anything like that in the regulations? I'm not sure this has come up before, but I certainly understand the intent to utilize existing features of the land, whether or not they exist. So, but sorry, Joanna, do you have anything to add?
No, and I think that maybe the applicant can kind of look into this and make some clarification at the next meeting. But the other thing is that, this is just master plan. So this isn't, well, this is the informational meeting, but after master plan, if there are things that need to be adjusted to fit in, more of the details are worked out during prelim and final. So this is not kind of the end all. There's still other chances to make those type of changes.
I'll certainly look into it a little bit more, at the issue, to see if there is anything that, and like I said, I've reviewed the regulations, but sometimes things slip through in the translation. But I can certainly comb through it again to make sure nothing would restrict that access on that road. And if that's the case, if something did, then yeah, they would have to move the driveway to Pierce instead of T. Parker. But that's something.
Anthony, may I?
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Listen, if everybody will remember, this was a 7-lot subdivision that Michael turned down to 6. He has 2 frontages on Pierce Road that he combined to make 1 lot. All right, so the town has already saved 1 lot. And now you're starting to deal with something that he may want to go back to 7. So I would take the easy way out here. He's giving you something and you're starting to wander around asking for more. I'd be careful. And there is nothing in our regs that says the driveway has to go on the frontage. Warren, the piece on Howard Hill, and I think it's South Killingly that just got sold.
Correct. That's
right?
not a corner lot because the town
Right.
hall is the corner.
Right, exactly.
Same-
Okay,
same
so
exact thing.
move on, people.
Right. Anthony, you're the chair. You can control the meeting.
I got it under control. I was told that I had to keep myself quiet.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead, Warren.
In reality, and looking at this comment is to Norm and the members of the board as well. When we reference the FEMA floodplain limits, the A zone, that if anyone with any common sense looks at the line on the map to the topography on the site, we know that water doesn't go uphill that rapidly, and that for everyone's benefit, the flood maps in Forster for the A zones like this, you'll see on the FEMA map, it has a 9999, which means we don't know where the heck the elevation is, but sometime or other, somebody went out and drew a circle on a map after severely heavy rains. So the implication of some of those flood lines, I don't know if Norbert, if there's any way to make those more or less accurate to determine the accuracy of those lines, that they're really not grade based, which the water lines would be to an A standard.
Well, I've gone through so many FEMA seminars, I can't even tell you.
I've been
Try
there.
to get a straight answer from them
Yeah,
as to how they can make water go uphill. We have to, since the flood elevation is not established, then we've got to mimic what FEMA has on their plan. That's what I've been told repeatedly.
okay.
The same thing when we do projects along the shoreline where the flood elevation is one thing, and then they have another one with regards to wave action.
Right.
And sometimes they have the flooding going higher than the wave action, and sometimes the vice versa. And that they supposedly take things into consideration, such as vegetation and everything else. If you want me to adjust it to make it run along a particular elevation, I'll be glad to do that. But we're going to be contradicting, quote unquote, the authority, which is FEMA, with regards to their plan now.
No, that was just 35 or 40 years of experience of doing the same thing you do, Norbert, in these areas. And Way back when I was reviewing the maps and dealing with FEMA as the town planner, I said, how did you determine those? And they said, DPW guys and police guys, they would go out and draw lines on maps and submit them.
Thanks.
So there's no technical background behind some of those lines.
I do know.
That's the way it's been. Thanks, Warren.
Yeah, and Anthony, just real quick, I just it's not gonna, it has no implication to this project, but I do know that FEMA is actively working to revise their flood maps. So maybe we'll get something within the next year that would solve this issue or make it worse.
Thank you, Michael.
So,
Okay, so we can move forward and get
Can I
this.
make one more comment?
Who's that? Where are you?
Norbert,
That's Norbert.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Norbert.
I'm not gonna take it personally. No one wants to see me, I guess. I don't know why I'm not being shown. Many of the members of the planning board are relatively new to this project. So please, by all means, don't take it personally. Take a hike. Go down Pierce Road along the frontage of Lot 5. Then take a walk along T. Parker along the frontage for Lot 5. You're going to see a clearing that we utilized to gain access to where we tested. If you don't want to call it a cart path, that's fine, but it's there. Planning, good planning, doesn't just read what's in the book. It determines by the site characteristics and what's best to develop or do something with any piece of property, taking consideration terrain and every other rule and regulation you can come up with. And if you insist that the driveway go out to Pierce Road, can it be done? Yes. Is it a good situation? No, because it's relatively steep. We can rework the world, as you know, with equipment that's available these days. But now you're going to have literally a canyon coming up the roadway from Pierce into Lot 5. Or if you drive around the corner and you just go down the road from the utility pole 25, you're going to see something that was there, I assure you, to the high heavens, that is a cleared strip of land that allows almost any type of vehicle to gain access to it. That's what we're proposing to use. Good planning takes those type of elements into consideration. And if in turn you take a look at Lot 5, taking consideration we eliminated a lot, that's the best venue for access to Lot 5. If there's less traffic on that road, the line of sight visibility is best, which minimizes to the greatest extent possible the utilization of an existing cleared strip. Call it as you wish.
Thank you, Norbert. Okay, moving on. So we send this next, Michael, they go in,
They'll come back. They'll take the comments from tonight and incorporate any changes. It didn't sound to me like there was any design changes that were requested specifically from the board. So if that's the case, make that, if that's not the case, make it known now if you want any design changes going forward. But other than that, there's no action required by the board tonight, and they'll come back for the master plan, anticipating a master plan approval at the next meeting.
Can I just ask a question, Anthony, just for my own knowledge?
go ahead, buddy.
Thanks, man. Is there a setback requirement on a driveway to a abutting property line?
50 feet.
No,
No,
there is
I
none.
don't, correct, yeah, I'm not aware of any setback for driveways for residential use. Again, I can look at that in a little bit more detail ahead of the master plan approval, as was sort of requested from Hillary when looking into whether or not access can be gained by something by the part that is not the I guess achieving the totality of the frontage for achieving a legal lot. But I can certainly look at that. I have not come across anything in the regulations that requires that to be set back for residential lot.
Is it just up against another building? Is that what it is? Close to like 50 foot to a budding building or?
The 50-foot
I thought there was
setback is
something a
for,
while
is the,
back, I don't know.
I'm sorry, the 50-foot setback, I think you're referring to is the building setback. So that's for structures, is what it's typically referred to as the building envelope when you show the setback. So that's what that is in reference to.
Okay. Do we need a motion to move this forward?
No,
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thanks.
Bond. Thank you, Norbert, thank you, Mr. Varus, thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we can go to E, which was before F, and F came after G.
did we have correspondence? That was our next item.
We did correspondence. There was no correspondence.
Okay.
I didn't have any. Anthony, for I think the next thing is for the capital improvements.
Correct.
You at the last meeting, obviously we went through in some detail regarding the individual requests from the individual boards. You should all have the staff narrative report summarizing the individual departmental requests, the total of those requests, and the total suggestions from Kelly and myself for funding. My suggestion tonight, and I thought this is what we're going to do, but I'm just reiterating, is to go down sort of itemize, go down item by item, department by department, and make individual votes on what you will be recommending to the town council for funding for those departments. Now, at the last meeting also, you had asked Linda to come back and give an overview of the land trust. So did you want to start with Linda?
Yeah, let's start with Linda, and then we'll move our thing along pretty quick. That way we can get the land trust part of it in here. And Linda, we have, I'm sure everybody has the capital expenditures for the land trust. There was a sheet that she had sent us. That game's not on tonight. I'm sorry. Okay, I guess, Linda, you have a little bit of a presentation, or you're going to explain to us what is it that you're looking for and why and so forth and so on.
Right, did everyone on the planning board receive the updated, I think it was from January 6th paper? Did Michael, you sent that to everyone?
I sent that out
Yeah.
right after the last meeting, so you should all have that. Linda, do you want me to show that on the screen, or do you gonna go through it?
I don't know if I have to go through it, if everyone has
Okay.
read it, more or less described how the land trust is funded.
Right.
And if anyone was at the last town council meeting when Dr. Bonds presented the school budget, he basically stated that it's not that the funds have to be appropriated. The funds are already appropriated. Our funds are already appropriated in a separate account for specifically and only for the use of the land trust. So the only thing we need to do is to have something approved at the town financial meeting to the town council, so that we can actually spend the money, some of the monies that are there already in the account. Does anybody have any questions about how the land trust is funded? Then on the paper that I had sent you, I think maybe we can go right to this summary that I had. The first appropriation that we are asking for is $90,000. It is for an ongoing conservation easement. This has been in progress now for over a year, and it is for a conservation easement only. It will not at all change the tax base of the taxes that these people pay on a farmland. It will just protect this property from future development under any owner. what we need to do, we don't expect to spend the $90,000 that we're requesting, where we have funding matching funds, we have a grant that will fund most of it. But we do have to make sure that the monies that are in account are available. So this is basically to tell the land trust that this money, we can use this amount of money on the property if we have to. The land trust actually voted for a cap on this project. So if the appraisal comes in higher than we were expected, we can back out of it completely. But that amount of money would more than cover any of the expenses we need for a matching fund. And we have money coming in besides from the federal grant for the conservation easement. We have money coming in from the Nature Conservancy and from the owners of the property themselves, who would give back some of the monies they get for the development rights. They would put it back into this and help pay for it. So it's just a matter, the money is already there. We just need to make sure that we can spend what we need to get this conservation easement. Would anyone have any questions on that particular project? Okay.
So Linda, that was you're requesting, I'm sorry.
The request for this was, this is not on, we don't have a CIP for this. Well, we did have one, but we withdrew those CIPs. It was for a matching fund for a federal grant for an agricultural easement on a 212-acre farm.
Okay, and that request is I'm sorry, that's 90,000 to be dedicated?
We're requesting 90,000. We don't expect to have to spend quite that much money on it, depending on however else we can get the match funded. But we would like to ensure that it would happen even if we needed up to that amount.
But you don't know how much you need.
No, the appraisal, we're going to vote on the company to do the appraisal at our next land trust meeting, and it depends on what's it appraised at. If the appraisal is too high, we wouldn't do it because we capped the amount of money that we want to spend on this property anyway.
And Linda, the $90,000 comes from?
The $90,000 comes from the land trust capital account, which as of December 2020, it had 254,000, excuse me. Okay. Had $254,392 in it, and that did not include a December conveyance tax. Monies hadn't been put in it at that time. So that money is already in the land trust's own capital account.
So you guys have $250,000 already in your account.
That's in the account. That's in the account for the land trust to spend. We just need to get it.
And you're requesting how much more? Total?
Total. Well, we're requesting also for a grant that we are submitting now. We are requesting to be able to set aside $100,000 for a trails grant. This is a grant that is due in about 2 weeks or a little less. And it's for improvements to the trails that we do have, for improvements to drive for parking access, because 2 of the properties that we have need to actually have on-property parking rather than on street parking.
Okay.
We'd like to be able to outsource this rather than try to do it ourselves, meaning we need grant assistance to do it.
Yeah.
Now, we want this money appropriated, but if we don't get the grant, we obviously aren't going to be do these projects. We always try to get matching money before we spend any money.
That's a beautiful way. I just have, you guys have 250,000 and you're still looking for more money.
No, that's kind of like an endowment, I consider it. We have that money in a capital account, but we'd like to we don't want to spend that down. We want to be able to get as much for the town as we can, meaning that if a grant comes up that will help us do the maintenance on the property that we would like to do to make it have better access for the public to use it, we should apply for these grants. If we apply for the grants, we need to be able to say that we have this money
Okay,
to
Linda,
spend on it.
Anthony, may I?
Yep.
Linda, can you clear to the members of the board that you are not asking for any money to be put in the CIP, capital improvement plan? None.
Absolutely not. This money, none of this money would come out of the capital improvement project that the town
Okay.
has. This is money that is already sitting in a land trust account.
Anthony,
Okay.
may I address?
Pardon me?
yeah, go ahead.
Listen, this is, I came tonight to give you the planning board, the land trust, and an overview. These are not just words. I have the greatest respect for Linda Tibbetts and what she has always tried to do. I also really respect Helen Hardy. I went and did a presentation one time, and Helen fixed that presentation for me so much. But the planning board has to understand no more land can come off the tax rolls of Foster. Every business survives in one of two ways: profit or cash flow. So let me just finish this. I'll give you the example. All right. The 101 solar farm. It's a solar farm. It produces revenue. That's profit. If it was 7 houses, it was cash flow and you don't gain. Foster as a business has neither. And Helen, you've been on the board for 27 years now, I think. And every year we deal with having less and less money to spend for the projects within the town. The land trust, although it has done great work, and that's it. It's done great work. The town cannot afford to take any more land off the tax rolls. Each piece of property having 5 acres, about 4 acres of everybody's property is in open space. Linda, you want a greenway. On the side of every road in the town of Foster are 2 greenways because the roads are above the swamps on either side. But I'm only talking about finances. Somebody in this community has to start to deal with the finances versus the good work they're trying to do. All right. And so she is not going to spend any of the taxpayers' money. And she'll continue to get taxpayers' money that was meant to come to the taxpayers. But now you can no longer say you're doing good work when you're hurting the taxpayers. Now, you don't have to agree with me, but Helen, you've been on 27 years and you know we used to buy a fire engine in 2 years. And now it takes 4. And pretty soon, I think South Foster's been asking for a fire station, fire truck, the last 5 years. I don't know if you okayed it this year or not. We continually cut services, which is operating. When you cut operating, you also cut capital. In the last 3 or 4 years, there's been requests that we need 4% in capital. The reason you need 4% in capital is because you've cut so much from operating. When you move 4% over, you're going to cut operating again, which means you're going to cut another service. So at some point, the services everybody is trying to do for this town is finishing it off financially.
Thanks, Ron.
And somebody has to deal with this because the council never will. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ron.
Anthony, if I may, I appreciate Ron's comments. Linda, if I think it'd be helpful to just understand I know Helen clarified for the board earlier that it sounds like the $90,000 that you're talking about, and you just said it's not being asked to be dedicated out of the capital improvements program. So it was my understanding that when you were to give your presentation tonight, it's going to be more informational for the board as to understand how the land trust gets its funding, rather than you're not actually asking for capital improvement funds dedication tonight. Is that correct?
Well, we have the funds. They are already in our account. There's no way that it can be changed right now. That's town charter that we have it. If at some point in time the town changes its charter regulations, that would be different. But right now, this money exists, and the land trust would like to try to use it to improve the properties that we do have.
Great.
Mike,
We
to
do-
you.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're right.
Hold on.
And so what we need to do is we need to have, we always have approval for our operational budget, which also comes out of this particular account. This is the first time we've had to ask for capital funding as well. So it was kind of new to us, and it was a mistake to send in the CIP forms because that made it appear that this was coming out of the town tax base. And it isn't. So I wanted to correct that impression with the planning board.
Right.
And just to say that at the town council, a budget should be presented somehow. I'm not sure how it should be presented exactly. And if anybody else from the land trust wants to jump in, please do.
Historically, now
Excuse
you've
me.
asked the question, and it hasn't been answered.
Anthony.
The question that was answered is how is the
Recognize, Ron, you know the rules. Asked to be recognized by the chair so you can.
Anthony, may I be recognized by the chair to explain how the land trust is funded?
Real quick,
Okay,
real quick.
2 years in a row, the state gave the town no reimbursements.
Why is Linda not explaining this?
Right.
I don't know. Why doesn't she then?
Offered to.
Go ahead.
Do you
So
want me
then
to waste your time from the planning board to read what you have printed in front of you?
I
For
thought you
the
already
benefit of
explained it
Mr.
last time.
Savazio?
Well, may I
Through
finish
Anthony.
then? Through
The,
Anthony, may I finish? Jeez.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron, real quick so we can move this forward.
Real quick, so 2 years in a row, the state gave no reimbursement. What it said in the end was to keep what I call the transference tax every time a house is sold. Bob Boyden and Nick Gorham walked in that night and said, let's take this money the state is now giving us and form a land trust. That money was to go into the operating budget of the town. So every cent the land trust has is taxpayers' money that was transferred one night at a town financial meeting. That's how they get their money. To say it isn't the taxpayers' money is a mistake. And now with that, I'll finish. Thank you for hearing me. See you later. I mean, just unbelievable.
Thanks, Ron.
Anthony, may I correct some misinformation?
Go right ahead, please.
Thank you. So the funds that we have are not derived from the town of Foster residents' annual property tax assessment. Okay, the funds are derived from a state of Rhode Island refund of about 45% of the conveyance tax that a property buyer pays to the state at the time of purchase. 100% of the refund returned to the town of Foster each month is designated by charter to be held and used by the Foster Land Trust. Only taxpayers who have purchased a property in Foster since 2004 would have made this one-time conveyance tax payment to the state of Rhode Island. And less than half of that tax payment would have been refunded by the state to be used for the Foster Land Trust capital account. In general, we get $35,000 to $45,000 lately a year. So it takes us multiple years to save up enough to do anything major. Our requests for this year have, do not include purchasing any new property at all. We want to reserve the $90,000 for a conservation easement, an agricultural easement, which is not a purchase of property. It is a preferred way to protect property. And it is protecting farmland, which is part of the designated duties of the land trust. Let me see. And the other one is also, we are also allowed to request grant funding for projects. And we would like to apply for this trails grant. And we would like to ask for $100,000, of which hopefully the grant will pay a major percentage of, and we won't have to use it. But we want to make sure that we've designated this money as it already exists, as being able to be used. And we're just hoping, we won't do these projects unless we have matching grant funds for it. And the grant that we're asking for is we're asking to be able to outsource to make 2 on-property parking areas, because right now one property, which has a good fishing access area, has mostly on-street parking on Cucumber Hill Road. It's a little past, it's a little dangerous. If we just can take the driveway that already exists and create a nice, safe parking area on the property, people won't be as in danger, and maybe more people will actually come and use that property. Let's see, and another one is a parking area access for a project that we've been working with the North-South Trail Council and Borders Farm Incorporated to take part of the North-South Trail off of the roads in Foster, bring them through the Land Trust property and Borders Farm property, which is a goal in the comprehensive plan. And we would need to create a parking access area on South Killingly Road on the property. When the 2 properties there were both donated to the Land Trust, so they weren't purchased at all. And South Killingly Road can be a little fast and there's a little curvy and bumpy, so it would be safer for cars to be able to drive in. There had originally been an old, probably hunting lodge on that property. So there was a driveway access. We have a sign near there. So there is an area that we could create parking for maybe 4 or 5 cars. And so the grant that we're applying for can provide funds for these types of things. We also have some repairs needed to existing parking areas and a handicapped access trail at the Spencer property, and a few other small parking lot repairs. And we're asking for funds for trailhead signs, kiosks, so that people, when they go there, will see maps and be able to, we would like to promote the Land Trust more and promote our hiking areas for the public. And to do this, we want the help of a grant, and to get the grant, we need to be able to say that, yes, we do have matching funds available.
Anthony, I just want to clarify, because I know that Ron said this is taxpayer money, and Linda mentioned that no, it's not, and it is in the charter. Section 10.17 specifically says that the money collected, 100% of it will be for the Land Trust for acquisition of land and maintenance of the properties. So
Correct. It would have to be a charter
it
change
would have to be a charter change.
to go back.
I
And
know there's a lot of dispute, but I just want to reinforce that what she's telling you.
I looked into that. That would have to be a charter change. If that was a charter change, that money would go back into the town and the treasurer, and that would be the cash flow. 1 second, Linda. And the question I have for you, Linda, is you says we only get 35,000 a year. That's only depending on how many houses are built. If there's more houses built with bigger houses with bigger money, you guys get bigger money and more money from that. That's being very conservative on your end. And if you talk to Kelly or someone else in the financial end of it in the town, they say they give you a lot more than that. And they've been giving you a lot more than that. And that all depends on what goes on in the town, what's being built and what's being sold. Okay, so that really, I think what you're doing is great. And I'm gonna keep there's a lot of,
But Anthony, even if there were a charter change,
yeah,
it would not affect the current money that is in the land trust account.
correct. We wouldn't take,
That's why it is basically like our endowment. We
Yeah,
can't,
we
we don't
wouldn't
want to
take-
spend
we
it
wouldn't
down.
take-
We want to,
we
we
wouldn't take that
invest
from
it,
exactly, I get that.
try to make as much money as we can for the town and be able to do projects that are beneficial to the people in town. Without
Helen,
losing
I
down that
guess,
money.
Helen, like you asked me one time, if I had anything to do with something that came in front of us. You're on the land trust or on the conservation committee, whatever, Helen? Are you on either one of those boards?
No, I'm not, Anthony.
Okay. All right, I mean, you just know a lot more about this stuff than most of us.
Oh, Mike Carpenter is here.
Mike-
Yeah, I just had
Mike-
computer issues.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys, how are you doing? How's everybody tonight?
Where are you, Mike? Oh, there
Good.
you are.
Good, Mike.
Okay.
You have any smiles out there?
Better to see you.
No, I had issues. Hey, what's really important here is relative values. And if we were West Greenwich, okay, with 32,779 total acres, 16,707 of those acres would be open space. We're Foster, okay? And the other comparators are Situate, Coventry, and Gloucester. But in Foster, we have 33,261 acres, 4,344, okay, open space. So as opposed to the 50% open space in West Greenwich, we have 13% open space in Foster. What's really important for everybody to know is the Foster Land Trust, out of that 4,344 acres, has only 939 acres, or less than 3% of the total acres that represent Foster. So Foster Land Trust is not stealing money from the Foster tax rolls. 939 acres. Land donated by Foster citizens to that 900 acres, 222. Land from other agencies and grants, 700. Land purchased by Foster Land Trust, 17.9 acres. You want to talk about conservative? The Foster Land Trust is a conservative element in Foster. And the conveyance tax that we enjoy, okay, by state law is so important to be protected for that very purpose and managed by the Foster Land Trust. The balance of open space acres in Foster, okay, these are out of the 4,000 acres, okay, they are tax exempt, but they belong to the DEM, the Nature Conservatory, and Audubon. I don't hear any comments from anybody concerned about collecting tax money with an intent to go after DEM, Nature Conservatory, or Audubon to collect taxes. And when we think about it, okay, I don't know how many of you attended the open meeting when the town decided to pay back tax money to Providence Water Supply Board for the 1,000+ acres that they wanted rezoned as forest and farmland at a reduced rate. In fact, they went and voted to pay over $1 million back in retroactive taxes to the Providence Water Supply Board.
They're still paying.
I love Ron. I love his business sense. But I was one of the guys that said, let's not move the question. Let's not pay these guys $1 million in back taxes simply because we think they've been wrong by farm, forest, and open space. So the town is while Foster is paying Providence Water Supply Board back $1 million, they're looking at Foster Land Trust and asking them how they're spending $35,000 a year. So as a planning board, what we have to do is think about long-term, what does our conservation plan say? What do we say in our comprehensive plan? What do we say when we have town surveys and people are voicing their opinion? Why did I move to Foster? For open space, for clean air. Okay, if we have any development in Foster that's of any value, it's going to be because of the fact that we have the last real clean air left in the state of Rhode Island.
Michael,
I've got a fact sheet here that I'm reading from, Anthony.
Yeah, no,
I shared with you and I shared with all the planning board members.
And I wanted to ask you a question.
I want you all to go through that, okay? And I want you to think about the fact that the Foster Land Trust is really not a factor in decision-making. And what Foster Land Trust is trying to do is give an accountability for how effective they are in using the money that they have from the conveyance tax to forward the comprehensive plan ideals. And we have an obligation as a planning board, okay, to kick our damn Foster Town Council in the butt and say, you got one agency here that works well. Why the hell don't you leave it alone and move on to other issues that matter?
I couldn't agree with you more, Ron. I mean, Mike. I didn't mean to say, Ron, I'm sorry, Mike. I couldn't agree with you more. But, you know, you brought up 2 or 3 real quick questions, and I'm going to ask these questions because I am so out of the loop with this land trust stuff, okay? And I really would like, and I'm sure there's other people with the same questions, they just don't want to ask them. When you said West Greenwich has 4,000 acres of open space, any of that, the any of that, the state-owned Big River or any of that stuff, is that?
Yeah, it's right out there. It's DEM, it's Nature Conservatory, it's Audubon. They all take the tax exempt 501c. We don't get crap from them. We can't access the property. Foster and the Land Trust is out there with a measly 939 acres trying to give people access to the land that the conveyance tax has authorized them to purchase.
I agree with you 100%, Michael. And the other question I have is, you said that the Land Trust only purchased 17 acres out of all that other acreage?
Yeah, that's pretty sad, isn't it? So we're getting,
all the other land was donated or?
Yes.
Hey, you know, Anthony, it's good for everybody here tonight to know I've been serving as the liaison to the Land Trust for a couple of years, and they're more accountable for what they're doing than the average group might be. They're very, very, very conscientious about accounting for all the dollars they spend and all the things they do. And if you go back to what Joanna said and you look at the charter and you see that they're authorized by charter to contract services to manage the land trust property and to contract services to maintain land trust property, the reality is, and this is something that I really don't know how to display this to the Foster residents, but you've got a half a dozen folks as land trust trustees who for the last 10 years have used their equipment, their gas, their time, and their labor to maintain 939 acres absolutely free of charge for the land trust. we don't have one single operating and maintenance dollar coming out of the town budget to maintain the trails, the hundreds of miles of trails and hundreds of acres of property that the land trust is assigned to by the town. So these folks, not only have they not been paid, but they've never been recognized.
Well, I was just gonna say that, Michael, and maybe Linda, you can let me in on this. I must be naive, okay? I've been here 20 years. I didn't know we have 100 acres, 1,000 acres of open space with trails and that the town people can use it and so forth and so on. And I can't be the only guy that lives in Foster that doesn't know about this stuff, okay? And the use of it. I think it's been almost like a secret thing. To me, this is how I feel. The land trust, it's a secret thing. They have their own land, you know, and the town doesn't even know about it. And what Michael just said, you guys doing your own thing, I'm wondering if the town people were involved, knew more about it and a little more involved, you wouldn't even get some town people that would volunteer with you guys to like come around and maybe help clean a trail or something, or somebody with horses or something. If you opened up horse trails for people and parking areas and so forth. For years, I've been driving by that pond. I don't live far from the pond, okay? And I'm an avid fisherman. And I've been always saying, oh, I would love to fish on that pond, almost to the point I was gonna knock on the door to the neighbor next door. Never knew that the town owned half of that lake and I can go in there fishing.
Anthony, that's a relatively new donation.
How new?
3
Remember,
years.
I'll have to look up the,
3 years, 4 years. Still, people don't know about that pond. They go.
Anthony, the signs are up there, Foster Land Trust access, right there. Right at the pocket, at the gate for that pond.
Okay.
There's decent little bass in that pond too.
I have to say, part of the problem is we did not have a website of our own. And it's just been relatively recently also that the town's website has been able to put up a very excellent land trust page that has our maps on it for the trails that are on that. So if you go onto the town of Foster's website, that's where publicity is. But we're also listed with Rhode Island and a few other trails. We have quite a few people who come and volunteer and help us do these trails, but obviously not enough. And I have to say, if you look at the comprehensive plan, in part of their introduction and summary, they actually mention that only about 33% of the people or less are aware of these things, which is why we need to have the trail kiosks, which is why I'm hoping to ask for, we did have a brochure printed out. Maybe we are a little too cheap because we voted again. There it is. Thank you, Lon.
Where was that brochure?
That brochure has been at the town offices. It's been in the 2 public libraries. It's
In the library.
in the libraries.
Not the
mostly.
library, I meant the post office, rather.
And okay, and in the post office, we are maybe too cheap because perhaps we discussed mailing it to everyone, but didn't want to spend the extra money to mail it out to everyone.
If more people knew about it, okay, and understood what you guys are doing, I think you would get less pushback. Okay, and really understand. I think the pushback is, I mean, you can't walk around 4 acres too many times before you get like bored, and everybody's out here for the reason. I see a lot of people walking around. I think it's kind of cool. I just wish I knew more about it, and I think the town people should know more about it. And I think you could use that for a little bit better. I know there's a lot of places, Patchogue, okay, where I was into horses. Patchogue, there's an area you can pull in your horse trailer, tie it up, and go ride your horses, but you have to buy a ticket, like at the Cape to get on the beach, you got to buy a pass at the town hall to go ride your horse. That's another way you people can raise money.
Well, Anthony, too, we have had equestrians in town wanting to help maintain some of these trails, but they need to have a parking access. The equestrian parking access was going to cost about $50,000, so we can't even include it in the grant that we're doing right now. There's a limit to what we can ask for. But that is on a kind of long-term goal, is to have two equestrian access places where people can pull in a horse trailer. One is, of those 17 acres of properties that were purchased without grant assistance, just something that we thought the town needed. One of those properties we purchased specifically because it has the capability to have it has a nice area. It's on the corner of Tom Woods Road and Shippey Schoolhouse Road. And that would be excellent to turn into a parking area that could have horse trailer access. And there's also a possibility of doing one along Windsor Road eventually. But right now we do not have that. That is a goal that we would like to do.
Okay.
And we'd like to we'd like to have the people not have to park on Cucumber Hill Road to access the pond. We'd like to have people not park on South Killingly Road. We'd like to have them park on the property itself so that they can enjoy the trails that we're going to put through, the north-south trail that's going to go off-road and into our property and then through Borders Farm Incorporated property. These are all good goals, but we need to apply for grants to get them to do it.
I think that's great. The horse people all have equipment, and maybe you can get them to volunteer some equipment to open up some of them parking areas. There's a lot of volunteers out there.
Yes, no, they have offered. They just need a parking area access to do it, and we also need, but you can't quite do that without permitting and environmental studies or whatever, wherever we're putting the access. So we can't just go out tomorrow and say, hey, yeah, come get your big equipment and.
This is Foster. You can do anything in Foster. Nobody takes a permit out or anything in Foster.
No. We try to do things by the book.
I'm just kidding you. Okay.
Anthony, if I can add something.
Go ahead.
We have about 12 miles of blazed trails with parking areas. Some of them, like she said, need some work. But we've got about 12 miles in Foster already marked, blazed for hiking. The pamphlets go on the website.
I'm going to.
The two libraries, the post office, and the town hall have our trail pamphlet. It's like a 4-page fold-out pamphlet. It has all the trails, where to park, and maps of those. So we've done a lot, believe me.
Oh, I know you guys are doing a lot, but I think if I took a poll on some of the members right here, Georgie, did you know there was a pamphlet out there with a map?
Not until the last meeting, but
Okay.
I do fish at Cucumber Hill Road.
Right? Okay, David, did you
Pretty
know?
good bass over there, and the kids.
No, I didn't, Anthony.
Okay, so I'm not the
News to me, yeah.
I'm not gonna.
That's three of you.
We realize we need to do better PR. It's not always the easiest thing.
That's what I meant. Like, it's a secret thing. That's what I meant. Like,
It isn't
no one
really.
knows about it, but the people know about it.
We work with the Rhode Island Land Trust Council. We usually have, we didn't do it this year because of COVID, but we usually have an annual hike. That organization helps publicize the walks and the events. But you have to be a person who is looking for trails to hike on before you know about them.
Let the people of Foster know about it.
Okay, so not for when we're out of brochures, the next printing of our brochure, we'll try to vote to see if we can mail them to everyone, but that means the planning board has to approve the funding for the mail.
Oh, I see how you work, Pierre. Okay, I get it. I pay for it. I say we pay for it, we get the pamphlets. Okay.
Anthony, one more quick thing. We've been running ads in the, or stories in the Foster Home Journal all through last year. We've had some great, I'm the author in a lot of them, and it's about all the different things about the trails.
Yeah.
And we have Trail of the Month. So I'm surprised you haven't seen these.
I apologize. I'm gonna have to go look at Michael. Go ahead.
Anthony, just want to let you know. I've been burning the land trust guys a little bit, from a marketing standpoint. And I know you would be as excited as I was when I found out that these guys, because of the volunteerism, using their own tools, their own vehicles, and their own labor, to manage 939 acres. I came up with a cost per acre, Anthony, of $57 an acre per year. Now, I have to tell you, if I have to sell somebody on the value of a service, and I can tell them that I'll manage their property for $57 an acre, I got a buyer.
Yeah, you absolutely. And if I knew, I mean, that's something that, that I wouldn't, be opposed to helping out personally if I could, but Mike Antonellis, you got something?
Yeah. Anthony, I was just gonna take the opportunity to thank Linda for coming by and giving the board an overview as what the land trust is up, your future plans and everything and all the good work you're doing. Thank you so much. And the other members from the trust who are present as well. It sounds like we've had a good conversation to get an understanding of how they're funded. And that was the intent of tonight, I think. And before we move on, I just wanted to confirm, I don't want to cut Linda off short, so I just want to, through you, is there any, it doesn't sound like there was any, and I know the answer, but I just want to confirm, there's no actual request to the board tonight for dedication of capital improvement funds. It was just more of a conversation to understand, again, the how the trust is funded and all the good things that they're up to.
Well, I mean, I think we do have to have the planning board present something to the town council for what we want. And I would say for the plans that we have, it would be probably around $200,000 that we would like to say is reserved for these projects that are on our list of projects we're doing and grants that we're following. So we need to be able to be allowed to spend up to that amount of money.
Right, but not through.
Yours. Not through capital improvements.
I'm not too sure how to do this.
Linda,
No,
you're
that's fine.
saying that like the planning board to endorse what your proposals are.
Right? Yeah, that sounds good, Helen. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay, yeah, without dedicating actual money from the, okay. I would just,
Yeah, only that we can use the money that's already dedicated in our capital account for these projects.
that's, but if you just want to, I would just advise not giving a Joanna's waving.
The charter says that the annual budget of the land trust is to be heard at the financial town meeting. It's not, I don't think we have to do anything. It's certainly not part of the capital improvement. That's our
Yes.
little rainy day fund.
Right, what I was getting at is I was gonna ask the board to not give like a formal vote on it, just because I don't think it's an agenda item really to be voting on. But it sounds like you have a consensus just informally from the planning board. Can I, is that fair?
Anthony, Michael, we need a motion to explain how the land trust functions at the financial town meeting.
It's not on the agenda. We cannot do that.
Well, yes, we can.
Mike, can you put your camera on?
No, I can't.
Yes, you can. No,
No, I really can't. I can't figure out what's going on, but
Or, so,
we need, you don't.
so let me,
you
wait,
know
let me just,
That it's not on the agenda.
can I
but you know,
clarify?
It's.
Okay, but I
it
need
may
to
not be on the
clarify.
agenda, but that's okay. We can still make a motion.
Okay, first of all, I
And we
need
can
to
still vote
clarify.
on it.
Mike,
And
I'm
then we can
sorry.
say it doesn't count.
The
But
fact that
the fact-
the fact that you are not appearing on the Zoom means that you are not present as a board member. Based on the executive order, we need to see you if you are going to be a board member.
I wish you could. I'm very happy with my little face, but I can't get it on there. So you're just gonna have to, well, open system preference. Let me see if that works for me.
Thanks, Joanna. We
Oh, you guys are unbelievable.
recognize his voice.
I don't make the rules. I don't
I
think it's an
know,
issue
you
to have
don't
him
make the
partake
rules.
in the discussion, but technically, like, he can't, the vote, he
What?
cannot vote.
If I'll have it this way. It doesn't sound like it's something that's
Well, somebody else make the damn motion then, for God's sake. We're not gonna let this go by the financial town meeting again without anybody knowing how the land trust works. So somebody put their thinking cap on. Come on, Anthony. Come
I
on,
can't,
Dennis.
I can't make the
Make a
motion.
motion.
So I will tell you that any motion that's made for an item that is not on the agenda is an OMA violation.
All right.
do we
Well,
have
then we'll all
time?
go to jail, okay?
Do we
Well,
do we
no,
have
the
time?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Do we have time
Financial
for?
town meeting.
That's what
It's
I'm.
not, it's in the summer.
That's what I'm getting at. Do we have time to maybe, if there's something the board really wants to do to really, to make a formal vote, we can put it on another agenda so that it's not creating an issue. If it sounds like we have enough time to. So why don't we hold off and we'll do that?
We can put it as a future agenda item for the first February meeting.
Love you, Helen.
Thank you, Helen.
Okay. So let's, Anthony, do you want to, so again, thanks to Linda and the Land Trust members.
Thank
Do we want to move on
You're
to
welcome.
going down the items for the different departments, and the board can render a vote on the individual
Yes.
amounts?
You want to do them, Michael, one by one and we'll
Yeah,
go by the.
I'll bring it up on the summary, just so we're looking at the numbers here. Just give me a second. All right, so this is what we're looking at.
Okay, I remember that one.
Can I just weigh in that in the past, what we've done is we have approved sort of a bottom line recommendation for each department. How the departments use that money is up to them, ultimately up to them. But
Thanks,
we
Ellen.
approve that bottom line recommendation. And in this case, it's based on the input from our treasurer on how much money we have available in the various budgets between ours and the housing aid that goes to the school, et cetera. Okay. So that's what we've done in the past.
Yeah, thanks, Helen. I was gonna, but yeah, so as I said in the beginning, I thought tonight we would just kind of go down item by item. The board can vote each department amount and then move on from there without getting into the amount of detail for each department as was discussed at the last meeting. So how do we want to start? Does somebody just want to start, make a motion on townwide, and then we'll go down? Does there want to be just a brief discussion on it before you make a motion? Who wants to start? Through Anthony?
Yeah, if we can have, obviously you can see what they requested and what's recommended. And we all know what they asked for. And there is some differences here. We can see it. It doesn't, I mean, from the total requested to the total recommended is about half. And then we all know it's going to go to the town council and they ultimately make the decision. So if we want to kind of like someone make a motion on townwide, there's a request of 20,000 and a recommendation of 20,000.
Is that for the ambulance?
What's that?
What?
Is that for the ambulance?
No, that was for the new server and some of the other things that town hall needed.
Right.
That was,
Town administration?
Yeah, I think that was for
that was
something.
for a vehicle.
Did you have something, Warren?
Vehicle.
Yeah, no, I was just, the question was, I didn't quite remember what townwide was.
It was for-
That's that stupid SUV they want to buy, which we want them to rent.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly. That's for a car.
Oh, it says it right below.
How
yeah.
they use the money is up to them.
We may-
Okay. I'll start with a motion. Whereas the townwide administration has requested 20,000, the planning board is recommending 20,000.
I have a second.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, George.
Helen, roll call.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, Mike,
Aye.
Hillary,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Anthony,
Aye.
and me too. And so that's 7-0. Okay,
And then, so the next one, the school department, you see the requested amount, the recommended, the requested, that was just, I mean, I can skip down to what that difference is between the, what's recommended and the requested, but the recommended is, if you remember, through the asterisk, that is to come out of housing aid funds. So that's what you'd be recommending. It, nothing's, I don't think is coming out of actual capital improvement funds
Right.
because of that money that's available through housing aid.
Right. That's one of those things where if it's not listed and they get it, they can't spend it.
it's
Yeah.
really
Right,
similar
okay.
to the land trust in that.
Okay.
respect.
All right. Whereas the school department is requesting $90,541. The planning board is recommending $188,047.
That doesn't, that
Proportion
makes us
proportion
feel
to
good, doesn't it?
housing aid.
Okay,
Need a second.
Second.
Who was that? Could you tell me who makes?
That was David.
David,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Discussion, they need to prioritize the well and the septic.
That's up to them.
No, it's not up to them. They gotta do it because the school will shut down if they don't have it.
I don't think that they're going to allow that to happen
I don't think the health department's going to allow that to happen.
Yeah,
either.
you know, if they were smart, they would have done it 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
The damn school is what, almost 50 years old?
Mike, I taught in that school all that time. Trust me. They were well aware of it. It's been on the, it's not the first time it's come up, man.
And I'm sorry, was the motion,
They're talking
was the-
about being blocked by the Department of Health.
The motion was,
How about we say this is an emergency funding issue? And they got to spend the money on the well and the septic. They gotta get off their butt and do something about this because they're already compensating for it. And if we let the school shut down, nobody's gonna be happy.
No.
so I just
We're
want to
making
confirm,
recommendations. We're not telling them what to do. We're making a recommendation to the council that they need to act on this. They can't keep diddly bopping around talking about the fact that the thing's been in service for 30 years. It needs to be replaced. They need to fund it. They need to get going on it. They need to get RFQs out there.
just a reminder to everybody that we vote on the bottom line for, not the bottom line, but we vote on an amount of money for each department.
We can make recommendations. We can tell the council they need to prioritize things. Otherwise, they blindly go into this and let the school do whatever they want. The school's accumulated something like $600,000 worth of money they haven't spent yet. It's about time they prioritize. And if they don't want to do that, fine. But doesn't mean the planning board can't recommend what's best for the students. I mean, I don't want my kid drinking bad water. I don't want my kid not being able to go to school because the toilets don't flush. That's stupid.
Question,
Especially when you know the systems are 50 years old.
question I have is, that school, is that a shelter in case of,
It's an emergency
okay,
management assembly area besides being a school.
which is controlled by FEMA,
That's right.
okay, which there should be some sort of grant money because I think if there's no place for us to bail out when Hurricane Diane or somebody comes here and there's no water or generator or something like that, I don't think that would be quite the fallout place to be at. Not only is it the school, but it's part of our shelter. So I don't know if there's a, if somebody's looked into it, or it's always gonna come off the taxpayer's back.
I think that's an excellent point, Anthony.
I mean, it's always coming off the taxpayer's back, and we all want it, and we all know they should have it. I just think the number of that well was absurd. Okay, but I think we should look into, make the recommendation that somebody look into that. Maybe the people from, what are we got in town? What's the group? Somebody help me, the group that, when there's a disaster, helps us out in town.
Emergency management.
EMA, is that what it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so doesn't that fall under their jurisdiction in case of an emergency management or something like that? So I mean, somewhere along the line, that's my recommendation, is that we look into some grant money on a dual purpose. If we can get grant money, because if it's an emergency shelter and it takes care of the school at the same time, I think that's a win-win.
How about if we ask Michael Antnellis if he would be willing to confer with the school and possibly work with the school on being able to obtain grant money to improve that those systems, which they have already spoken to us about their plans for. But maybe Michael could speak to them, confer with them, and see if he could help out with that grant.
I'll be happy to talk to Dr. Barnes and the business manager over there for those things.
Yeah.
Have a conversation.
The EMA guys, Michael, whoever it is, the EMA director.
Oh, okay.
Whoever
Yeah.
it is, to pick up the phone and call FEMA and mention to them the situation, plead hardship that we don't have water and toilets in our emergency shelter, and maybe they can come up with something.
I'll confer with the school about what the needs are, and if necessary, approach EMA. I just want to confirm the motion. I just want to make clarification that the motion is to dedicate those funds from housing aid.
Yes.
Okay.
88.
Yeah, in the motion, I had mentioned that the difference between the request and the recommendation was to be made up with the housing aid.
The full amount should come from, is the request, the full amount to be funded should
Right, the
come from housing.
188
Yeah,
was recommended over the 90, that difference included the housing aid funds available.
yes, all right, yep,
That was the motion.
okay.
I just, the plan is to get, as far as the school goes this year, as far as the well goes, plan is to get it into permitting this year. Construction won't start until it's approved.
Thank you, George.
They are shaking every grant tree that they can find.
Yep, I know that.
That's coming from Mr. Brendan Mara.
Yep.
I have a second?
There was a second.
Was already seconded. The motion made and seconded. David seconded it.
Okay, all in favor?
Mike,
Oh, you gotta do a roll call.
Mike,
Aye.
No, Mike cannot vote. I'm sorry. Mike, unless we have the camera, he technically cannot be present at this meeting. And if
Rita
we,
Pratt.
if we allow him to vote, I'll just disregard what was said. But if we allow him to vote, then that potentially, somebody files an OMA, potentially undoes everything that we've done.
okay,
I'm sorry. I'm not Gina. You can write a complaint to her.
I will put it, Mike's votes as, whatever you put it. Okay,
Abstain.
No, just he's not,
No,
he's technically
He's not
not.
present.
Can't vote.
Technically, he's not here. You're right. Okay.
That's okay.
Hillary,
Go for it, guys.
Aye.
thank you. Warren, I'm putting you down as yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
David,
Yes.
George,
Yes,
Anthony,
Yes.
me too. Okay. Next, engineering.
Okay, whereas the engineering board has requested $270,000, the recommendation of the planning board is $125,000. So
Okay, we have a motion to accept that, the recommendation.
I just made that motion.
Oh, there is a motion? I'm sorry.
I just made, we need a second.
Oh,
Second.
we got a second?
Thank you, Hillary.
Second.
Okay, a roll call?
Hillary,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
David,
Aye.
George, you there?
I am.
George, you approve that?
I do.
Anthony,
Yes.
me too. Okay. Next. Police,
Public Works,
I have police next, please. 59,500.
Okay, make a motion that the police department's request of $59,500 be recommended by the planning board at $59,500.
I'll second.
Thank you, George.
Welcome.
roll call?
Okay. Hillary,
Yes.
thank you. Warren,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
me too. Okay. Now Public Works.
Public
Thank-
Works,
Public Works is requesting $999,000. It's almost a lottery. And the planning board recommends $329,000. That number may increase pending bridge improvements. So we're just gonna
That was-
make that recommendation without the increase. Is that correct, Michael?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. All right, so the planning board recommends $329,000.
yeah, that asterisk was just put there just for informational purposes. What
Alright.
might shake out with conversation with the town council, because we understand that the bridges need work, so.
Okay. So-
Second.
Thank you, David.
roll call?
Okay, let's see.
Discussion, first of all, any discussion on this? No, okay, roll call.
Hillary and Doc,
Yes.
Warren, I'm assuming yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
David,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Anthony,
No,
okay, and yes for me. Okay,
So Michael, before I move this, it was my understanding that the land trust is not part of the capital improvements recommendation.
right, so don't,
We won't address that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
recreation.
Whereas the Recreation Department has requested $137,500. The recommendation of the Planning Board is $137,500. So moved.
Second.
got it, okay. Roll call?
Hillary,
Aye.
thank you. Warren,
Aye.
David,
Yes.
George,
Aye.
Anthony,
Yes.
me too. Okay,
Okay,
Um,
so
So that's it.
are we going to allow others to do the totals? Because it looks like we've got to deduct $225,000 rather than go for the subtotal line. We just leave that out
Yeah, we just made our recommendations.
Okay.
They can do
individually.
that.
It's better. Yeah, all right.
I'd like to maybe see if, my recommendation here to the town council is that they form a financial committee okay, a finance committee. For the simple reason is get 3, 4, 5 qualified people in finance, okay? Because what we just did right now was truthfully a joke.
Not good.
And it seems like, don't say it's a joke, but if you really think about what we did, we spent time the last meeting. We listened to everybody what they wanted to do because we know somebody or whatever. Okay. And then Kelly makes a recommendation and we listen to Kelly's recommendation without changing our recommendation, which is all not because it goes in front of the town council and they make the final words. And since day one on this board, I said, I don't know why it's coming in front of us because we make the recommendation, no one listens to it. I think if a recommendation came from a finance committee of 3 people, okay, accountants, whatever, people that are knowledgeable and really into it, maybe they would listen to which would take nothing away from Kelly because Kelly would be working with the finance committee. And I think a finance committee and Kelly can make a better presentation than us being nice guys and want to give whatever they want something. I mean, I don't know if I'm out of line by doing that.
It's not on the agenda, so you can't make the motion, but you can put it on next time to make that suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess, Michael, that's going to have to be on the next agenda item on future agenda for the next week or whatever. If somebody agrees with me or disagrees with me, we can discuss it that night, I guess.
And
right?
you can think about, if you're going to make that recommendation to the council, you should think about who do you want to be on the board on this committee? How do you want these members to be appointed or selected?
Right.
You know, sometimes you say one member from a planning board, you know, you can think about so that you make an in-depth recommendation and maybe they're more apt to accept.
Thank you.
That's a good
Thank you, Joanna. I mean, Michael, other towns do this. I know other towns do this. I mean, I never heard of such a thing. It comes in front of the planning board. We discuss it and somebody else makes a decision. It's ludicrous. It's crazy, I think. But then again, I'm crazy. So I don't know, like, if it works.
You could also have a subcommittee of the planning board, have a public meeting and have it as a quote unquote subcommittee, and you could appoint however many members you want to then make a final recommendation to the full planning board so that that kind of subcommittee could have a more expansive, like they could have a bunch of special meetings.
And then bring it to us. That's what I'm trying to get away from, Joanna, because nobody listens to us. I think we need to get 3 people, 4 people, whatever, a real finance committee, okay, to bring it to Kelly and them go over it and make the recommendation.
I'm just gonna double check the charter about.
Okay, we can, but I don't want to be left out of the loop. I want the recommendation from the finance committee and then we'll look at it and then send it forward. How's that sound? At least we get our toe in the water. But anyway.
We can have a more in-depth conversation, I think, on that.
At the next one, you're right. And we'll just move along. In fact, we'll just go to the future agenda items. Michael, I think on the next, for the agenda.
Yeah.
What I'd like to put on the agenda to go hand in hand with the Route 6 zone change is I want to bring back up the blight ordinance and bring it right back to the town council, the new town council on Route 6, cleaning up Route 6 again. Okay. I don't know what we're going to do about it, but we can just make a recommendation back to the town council. Sure. And the zoning ordinance, obviously farm forest business, accessory use. I'm still confused on that, but the zoning on Route 6 is important, very important, I think, for the future of the town.
Sure.
Along with the blight. And now, I guess we can, somebody wants to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
To what?
To adjourn. Is the meeting over?
Yeah, that's the last agenda.
So we were done, I'm sorry.
Can I ask you something real quick for future agenda items?
What's that?
Make a motion to adjourn. Hillary and I have been working a little bit on the on the project, so maybe next meeting we can kind of go over our progress.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Put that on, Michael.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
Anything else? Anybody else feel something's important that we're missing out on future agenda items that want on the agenda?
Well, I don't know if Michael's met our new mean building inspector. Have you,
Oh,
Michael?
yes, I have.
Yeah, right. Tough, mean, tough guy, you know.
He's not me.
You don't look mean. You don't look like you can scare anyone.
Oh,
No,
no.
he worked with Providence for a long time.
I know him well, yeah.
Yep.
Better get him a bodyguard if he's gonna run around town. It's a little small, little guy. But anyway,
Let's not.
Those are the meanest ones.
That's right.
I got a little dog here that's like
Approved.
about that big,
Ankle biters.
right?
At least
Oh,
Mr.
boy.
Bonds looks like he's happy with him.
What's that?
I said, at least Mr. Bonds looks like he's happy with him.
Oh,
Oh,
he's always got that smile on his face, Warren.
yeah.
Get out of here. Okay, so thanks everybody for coming.
Hillary,
Aye.
Warren,
Abstain.
Adjourning.
David,
Yes.
Yes.
Joyce, Anthony,
We have to ask Mike Carpenter.
No.
Yes.
Don't make my job harder.
That's okay, Joanne. I love you anyway.
I'm sorry.
All right. Is that everyone, Helen?
No, I didn't say aye yet. No one asked me.
George, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
You stay right there, George. We're all gonna leave. You stay right there in that little square. Okay, we'll come back for you.
It's a little tight in the square.
Hey,
for
Nick.
me, but They got it.
Okay.
good night, everybody.
Everyone.
Night.
Night.
Good night.
Aye.
Good night.
Joanna, do we need to talk about anything?
Um,